Light is a young boy who dreams of becoming the greatest adventurer in history. By mistake, he ate a devil fruit, which granted him an incredibly powerful skill. Our episode begins with Light, the handsome young man, alongside his friend Lena, discussing extraordinary skills and abilities. Light has a preference for dual swords or swift movement and seeks combat-orientated skills because his dream has always been to become a famous adventurer. Lena immediately has to prepare for the journey. This has been her dream since he was a child, and today, finally, he gets the chance to achieve his dream and acquire new skills. As for Lena, her ambition is to gain skills similar to Light's. They talk about a fruit-bearing tree that grants skills upon consumption. Eventually, they arrive at a grand building. Inside, they consume the fruits. Light narrates that all of this began 3 months ago. On the day he ate the fruit of skills, the scientist explained that these fruits grant abilities and allow individuals to pursue careers suited to those skills. However, there is one strict rule: the fruits can only be eaten once in a lifetime. Eating a second one leads to instant death. Many foolish adventurers tried consuming a second fruit, hoping for better skills, but all perished from poisoning. Lena asks Light if he was aware of this, and he confirms, saying sacrifices are necessary. He shares stories of adventurers who gained legendary skills, such as the King of Fists and the Mystic Eye. Inspired, Lena eats her fruit and gains an impressive skill, the Sword Saint's skill. The Saintist is thrilled, as she has long awaited such an adventurer. When Light eats his fruit, he gains the ability of Fruit Master, which he initially thinks makes him destined to be a farmer. Furious and disappointed, he exclaims that he wanted to be an adventurer, not a farmer. The Saintess tries to comfort him, explaining that his skill allows him to harvest large quantities of crops and reduce farming time. Lena reassures him, saying she will help him grow fruits and won't leave his side. Together, they will build a big farm. The Saintess, however, scolds Lena, declaring that the Sword Saint's skill appears only once every 10 years, and Lena must become an adventurer to serve the country. She takes Lena to the city for immediate recruitment. Lena bids farewell to Light, promising to meet him again someday. Back in the present, 3 months have passed. Light has become a famous farmer, harvesting and selling produce for significant profits. One day, after selling his crops, he sees Lena's image displayed on the city walls. She has risen to an S-rank adventurer in record time. Enraged, Light vows to achieve the impossible without combat skills. He begins rigorous sword training. At that moment, a new character, Ella, approaches and greets him warmly. And so, the girl named Ayla became part of Light's life. For reasons unknown, the village chief had recently entrusted her to Light, insisting that he take her in. Now they lived together, sharing work and responsibilities between them. One evening, they sat down for dinner. Ayla asked Light about his day and the harvest. He replied that everything was going well, especially with the skill fruits, which he had started focusing on cultivating. Light mentioned his plan to save some money to buy a better sword, and explained that he had carefully sorted the skill fruits into separate boxes. He then warned Ayla never to eat any of these fruits without his permission, no matter the circumstances. Ayla paused for a moment before confessing that she had used some of the fruits to prepare the soup they were eating. Light was shocked. Memories of the Saintess's warning flashed in his mind that eating a second skill fruit would cause instant death. Suddenly, a familiar sensation coursed through his body, an intense heat radiating from within. Just like the day he first ate a fruit, he feared for his life, but realized it was his fault for not explaining the fruit's danger to Ayla. Collapsing to the ground, Ayla panicked and rushed to his side. To their astonishment, Light stood up moments later, seemingly unscathed. Light was bewildered by what had happened. Not only did he survive, but he also realized he had acquired a new skill, Sword Sovereign. Still, he didn't fully understand its implications. Meanwhile, the Saintess, upon learning of the events, was equally baffled by the turn of events. Back at home, Ayla suddenly fell ill, experiencing a severe headache and fever. Moments later, she discovered she had gained the appraisal skill. Using it, she informed Light that his Fruit Master skill made him immune to all fruit toxins. Light was stunned and asked how she knew this. Ayla explained that when she looked at him, words describing his abilities appeared in her vision. She also revealed that he now possessed the Sword Sovereign skill, which drastically increased his attack power when wielding a sword. Light decided to test these newfound abilities. He took a sword and ventured into the forest. Striking a tree with all his might, he effortlessly cut it down, confirming the power of his new skill. Overjoyed, Light realized he might be the only person with 2 skills. The next day, Light and Ayla headed to the city to visit the Adventurers Guild and take on some quests. Upon entering the guild, they were awestruck by its grandeur and the sight of adventurers bustling about. It had always been a dream for them to come here. For Light, however, it wasn't just about earning money. He wanted to test his new skills in real battles and see if he could truly join the ranks of adventurers. Deep down, he also yearned to stand beside Lina once more. Light asked Ayla to sit and wait for him while he secured a quest. Sitting alone, Ayla observed the guild's many powerful individuals, noting that everyone seemed to possess only one skill. This made her realize just how unique Light was with his 2 skills. Wanting to be helpful, she began gathering information using her appraisal skill. She learned about various abilities, including combat arts, enemy detection, fire manipulation, and even charm skills. Ayla resolved to use her findings to support Light in his journey. Jean argues with Light when Light accidentally bumps into him. Jean shouts, "A true adventurer should be able to avoid such things. You're the guy who sells fruits at the market, the fruit master. What are you even doing here in the guild? This is no place for you." Jean attacks Light, but Light managed to stop the attack. Jean's friends are shocked that Light managed to stop the attack. Light thinks to himself, "It seems wielding the sword enhances my reaction speed." Jean speaks to Light, "I went easy on you." His friends then say, "Don't waste your time on him. Let's leave and claim our first glorious victory." They leave, and Light turns to Ayla. "Let's go. I've got a mission too." In the forest, Light and Ayla arrive in the forest, and Light says excitedly, "This is our destination. We'll finally see some monsters." He warns Ayla, "This place is dangerous. Stay behind me." They begin searching for monsters and encounter their first one, a slime. Ayla informs him that slimes have higher defense than most other monsters. Light talks to his sword. The first to strike wins. "Don't let me down, sword skill." He charges at the slime and successfully defeats it, exclaiming, "I feel like my sword is incredibly light. The boost to my leg strength was amazing." He tells Ayla, "If we return with parts of the slime, we can trade them for money at the guild." Ayla responds, "I feel bad cutting it up and taking its parts." Encountering the ghoul while cutting the slime, they hear screams. They find Jean and his friends fighting the ghoul, but they are terrified. Jean yells, "What is this ghoul doing here? We met a strange man at the guild." The ghoul charges at them and they try to flee. Light and Ayla witness the scene. Ayla remarks, "These monsters aren't supposed to appear here." Jane and his friends run away, leaving the ghoul in front of Light. Ayla says, "It's focused on you now. We have no choice but to fight." Light prepares himself. "Defeating this monster will be the perfect start to my career as an adventurer." The ghoul attacks, but Light dodges its blows. Ayla warns him, "Be careful. Sword skill doesn't enhance your physical defense. If you fail to dodge, you could die instantly." Light thinks to himself, "I must become the greatest adventurer ever. I'll leave my mark on history. I know the strength in my legs now." He charges at the ghoul, striking it and cutting it in half. Light celebrates, "I did it. The fruit master and sword skills are both incredible." At the guild, the receptionist says, "You didn't just defeat a slime, but also a ghoul." Light responds, "Yes, here's the ghoul's horn as proof." Jean's friend chimes in, "Yes, we were watching. We can confirm it. This man saved our lives." Jean says, "Lina is the star of the Rank S Holy Sword team. Lina has never forgotten you, and Lina now bears the biggest cut of fang." Light feels disheartened that Lina doesn't remember him. Our episode begins today as the S-Rank team returns from their mission abroad, surprising everyone with their transformed physiques and immense power. In those moments, Light tries to call out to Lina, his former friend, but he is met with a shocking surprise. When she looks at him, she says, "I think you've mistaken me for someone else," meaning she doesn't recognize him at all. This was a massive shock for Light. Later, the scene shifts to Yila taking Light home for a meal. However, he remains deeply saddened. As he prepares to eat, he is stunned to see Lina arriving at his house. This reveals that she had pretended not to know him for some purpose. Just as he is about to say her name, she places her hand over his mouth and says, "Be quiet." She then asks him what he was doing at the guild. He tells her that he and Yila have become adventurers and that it's a long story he'll share later. He also tells her about his second skill, the cutting blade, and assures her that he'll catch up to her soon. However, he then asks her about the Holy Sword team. She replies, "Light, it's not as great as it seems. I'm forced to work with people chosen by the Saintess. I won't deny that the pay is good, but the overall atmosphere is terrible. That's why I advise you to stay away from the Holy Sword team." She explains further, recounting an incident from 2 months ago. She tells him about a mission involving snakes. They had used fire to burn the snakes, but strong winds carried the flames toward nearby farms. Lena was devastated, but the others dismissed it, saying, "So what? The important thing is to finish the job. Those aren't our farms." Lena was deeply affected, arguing that it wasn't right. "These farmers are poor people who depend on these lands and fields. You're burning crops that take more than 4 months to grow," she had said. Lena then approached the Saintess to tell her what happened, only to discover that the Saintess shared the same mindset as the team. She had replied, "That doesn't concern us. What matters is that we defeated the Great Snake. That's what history will remember." Returning to the present, Light tells Lena, "If you're unhappy with your team, why don't you join us?" Lena begins to cry and then leaves, leaving us unsure of what happened to her. In the evening, at the Adventurers Guild, we see the guild girl handing Ille and Light as a reward for defeating the wild ghoul. Light takes the money, but he is deeply affected by what has happened to Lena and her behavior. He is extremely worried about her. Episode question: why doesn't Lena want to join Light, even though she clearly wants to be with him? Please pause the video and leave your thoughts in the comments. The scene then shifts to the leader, Graus, surrounded by women. He appears to be a notorious womanizer with a bad reputation. He brags about his monster hunting exploits, boasting of his skills and strength. However, the guild girl approaches him and says, "Regarding your power, particularly your fire abilities, some local villagers have filed a complaint. They claim the fire burned their homes and crops." Graus responds dismissively, laughing. "That didn't happen. Tell them to leave immediately. We defeated that monster because they requested it. Besides, sometimes small sacrifices are necessary." At that moment, Light enters, interrupting him without any greeting. Graus mocks him, replying, "You must be one of Lena's obsessed fans." Angered, Light retorts, "This is none of your business." Lena was crying. She must be suffering. Graus, unfazed, quickly calls for the guards, who grab Light and throw him out. Some people outside caution Light, saying, "Don't go against Graus. Angering him won't sit well with the Saintess." The scene then transitions to the Holy Sword team. As the members of the Holy Sword team were discussing a topic given to them by the Saintess, they expressed their desire to earn more money, boasting about their incredible skills. Lena remains silent, lost in thought about Light and his words. He had asked her, "If you're unhappy with your team, why don't you join us?" This struck a chord with her, and she decided to confront Graus about leaving the Holy Sword team. Lena told Graus she wanted to leave, but Sirim dismissed her concerns, claiming, "We are the greatest team of all time." Lena, however, ignored his remarks, knowing she could no longer continue with them. She wanted to live as an adventurer, guided by her own beliefs. As she turned to leave, Graus, furious at her defiance, rushed after her. Lea reached for her sword, but Graus mocked her, saying, "Even with your incredible holy sword, Saint skill, you can't touch me." He then struck her across the face and forced her to stay, insisting that she made people happy and that they would save the world together until their last breath. Later, the Holy Sword team left the guild, greeted by cheers from the crowd praising their strength. Suddenly, they found Light standing before them. Seeing him, Graus sneered and asked, "What are you doing here?" Light responded, "I'm here for my friend Lena." Graus mocked him further, ordering him to leave as they were heading to hunt monsters. Light ignored him and called out to Lena, urging her to join their beginner team, reminding her of their childhood promise to become adventurers together. Lena, recalling those memories, hesitated, but ultimately replied, "I'm a member of the Holy Sword team now, and I don't want to leave." Hearing this, Light challenged Graus to a duel, stating that if he won, Lena would be free to leave. Graus, confident in his strength, added another condition. "If you lose, you'll be banished from the Adventurers Guild forever and will never set foot in the Holy City again." Lena begged Light not to agree, fearing he would lose everything he had worked so hard for. However, Light accepted the challenge. Ila, using her power, revealed that Graus possessed a skill called Super Speed, allowing him to instantly close the gap between himself and his opponents with supernatural speed. Graus mocked Light further, claiming it was impossible for him to win. Light revealed that he had 2 skills, Fruit Master and Sword Sovereign, but Graus laughed, calling it a lie, since no one could possess 2 skills. Graus attacked Light with lightning speed, but Light managed to block all his strikes. Suddenly, Graus appeared behind Light and then in front of him, moving so quickly that Light couldn't keep up. Graus declared, "This land belongs to me. No sword will ever touch me. My power is S rank." Determined, Light charged at Graus with all his might, aiming to end the fight. But Graus blocked his attack with such force that Light's sword shattered. Thinking he had won, Graus prepared to kill Light, stopping only when he demanded that Lena swear to obey him for the rest of her life. Despite her fear, Lena shouted to Light, "I've always believed in you. You can win this." Encouraged by her words, Light stood up, ready to continue the fight. Without a sword, he grabbed a broom from a nearby man and prepared to battle Grouse with it. Mash took this as a sign that Light had entered and dropped the broom like a gauntlet. He angled towards the stairs and began to ring the bell. Light grabs the broom from the man, enraging Grouse, who yells, "Are you mocking me? I'm completely serious. Stop this nonsense. You'll regret it even in the afterlife." Light, however, remains focused and thinks to himself, "Imagine the broom as a sword, its handle made of steel with a long, sharp blade. My strikes must be faster than his. I'm only behind because I've been watching his movements. I'll swing based on what I feel, not what I see." With this mindset, Light charges at Grouse, delivering a powerful strike to his face with the broom. The blow is so strong that Grouse falls to the ground. Everyone is stunned by Light's strength, and Light is overjoyed at his success. Light then addresses the members of the Holy Sword team. "If you mess with us, you'll meet the same fate." Turning to Lina, he says, "You're free now. You can work as an independent adventurer or join a team if you wish, but I want you to join me and Ila." Lina agrees and leaves with them. A week later, the scene shifts to Light and Ila in a field. Light remarks, "It's been a week since my duel with Grouse." Lina calls out to them and Light responds, "Starting today, I'll be accompanying you. Since our base of operations is in the Holy City, Lina has allowed us to stay at her place. I wish I could say I'm living a carefree life as an adventurer." Meanwhile, Lina speaks to a young man who approaches her and says, "The Saintess is summoning you. She wants to speak with you about leaving the Holy Sword team." Lina coldly replies, "It doesn't matter how many times she asks, my answer won't change. I won't meet with her." The young man warns, "You won't receive the same treatment you had when you were part of an S-rank team." At the Adventurers Guild, the trio goes to the guild, where the receptionist offers them missions. "The tasks I can assign you are exterminating demon rats in the tunnels, repairing rooftops in the poor districts, and finding a lost cat. Will you take them?" Lina replies confidently, "Yes, we'll take them all." The townsfolk are thrilled to see Lina and her team. In a quiet corner, she assures the townspeople, "You can rely on us. We'll split up and start working immediately." Light and Lina use their skills throughout the day to complete various tasks, helping the townsfolk in meaningful ways. As night falls, Light says, "The three of us earned some gold after all the effort we put in today." Lina responds, "I wanted to use my skills to help those in need. I'm so glad I left the Holy Sword team to aid people. Even if we're doing small tasks like today, it feels meaningful. But this isn't the kind of adventurer you aspire to be, is it? You probably want to take on bigger challenges." Light smiles and replies, "I truly enjoyed today. I learned so much. Thanks to you. I think we should hold a founding ceremony. It's a tradition among adventurers, a way to make a vow or wish for success on their journeys." He continues, "I've thought of a name for our team. Luxeria. It means the incomplete light. I'll become an adventurer who leaves his mark on history." Lina, inspired, says, "And I'll become an adventurer who fights for the people." Together they declare, "As Luxeria, we pledge our vow, under the witness of the stars, the Saintess and the mysterious task." The scene shifts to a young man speaking with the Saintess. He asks, "Are you truly giving that mission to those three? Lina might survive, but the other two are doomed to die." The Saintess responds coldly, "Yes, I've already arranged it with the trash. We'll simply claim that nothing bad was supposed to happen. Let's see if a priori the one who claims to lead can truly change the future." Our episode begins today with Light and Lina heading to the guild because they're looking for a new mission. But the guild girl tells them the mission is dangerous. She says, "We don't even know what kind of monsters you'll be dealing with." Light and Lina are shocked. "What do you mean you don't know what kind of monsters?" they ask. That's when the guild girl starts explaining the story. "It all started 2 months ago," she says. "A team of adventurers went to the northern Montes Valley to survey the monster density, but they disappeared completely. We couldn't find them. After that, we sent more adventurers to search for the first team, but they also vanished. We've had no news since then. So far, 18 adventurers from ranks A and B have gone missing." She hands them a list of their names, and when Lina looks at it, she's stunned. "These people are really strong. One of them taught me so much when I was a new adventurer," she says. The guild girl continues, "We don't have much information. All we know is that they might have headed to Count Monte's old estate. It's a mansion built 30 years ago by a man who made his fortune through adventuring. Unfortunately, there are no records of what skills he had. After his death, the mansion fell into disrepair. The mission's objectives are to find the missing adventurers and figure out what's causing the disappearances." Lina is frustrated. "How are we supposed to do this? Even rank B and A adventurers didn't survive. What chance do we have?" she says. But the guild girl tells them, "It's the only available mission." Lina thinks for a moment. Something's not right. "This mission might be way too dangerous for us," she says. But when she looks at Light, she sees how excited he is. "I've always wanted to visit that valley," he says eagerly. Ella chimes in, "All right, let's go there and grab some pizza." She's only thinking about food. The guild girl looks at her and asks, "Is this little girl really coming with you?" Light defends her, saying she's got an amazing evaluation skill. The guild girl is shocked. "Wait, did this kid eat a skill fruit?" she asks. Light explains it happened by accident. Without wasting more time, they set out. When they arrive, the area is completely shrouded in thick fog. They can't see where they're going. Lena checks the map. "We should be here," she said. Looking down, they finally spot it. A massive abandoned capital. The place is creepy, and as they descend, they notice the huge castle the guild girl had mentioned. "This was all built for just one man," Light says. "He must have made a fortune as an adventurer." He dreams aloud. "One day, I want to build a huge farm and a massive training ground." Ella gets excited and says, "I want to live there with you." She jumps with joy, but ends up slipping. Light grabs her, and Lena grabs Light. But they all lose their balance and fall. As they're falling, Light's mind races. What am I supposed to do now, he wonders. Light uses his sword to break their fall, reducing the impact just enough for them to land safely. It seems like everything is fine, until they're surrounded. Vampires emerge from every direction. Light immediately strikes one of them down, but when he looks more closely, he notices something strange. Some of the vampires look like adventurers. Could they have been bitten and turned into vampires, he wonders. Ella uses her evaluation skill and confirms they're dead. These people aren't alive anymore. They've turned into monsters. And worse, they can spread the infection by biting others. "We have to be extremely careful," she continues. "They still have their combat skills, speed, and ability to make money. These must be the missing guild adventurers. That's why they never came back." Light struggles with the decision. What should we do? Should we kill them? As he's hesitating, one of the vampires lunges at him, but Lena saves him at the last second. "Don't hold back," she shouts. "They're not coming back to life. Even if they do, they'll never return to their original selves. Let's head inside the castle. There might still be survivors." They push open the massive door and find even more vampires inside. Adventurers who've been turned. The castle feels like a graveyard of fallen heroes. Lena charges forward, slicing through the vampires with incredible speed and precision. Ella cheers her on. "Wow, Lena, you've really mastered the art of the blade." Lena smiles but shakes her head. "My sword's strong, but I wouldn't say I've mastered it. Like, you've got some catching up to do." Not wanting to be left behind, Light steps up and takes down several of the monsters. While searching for Ella, he notices one of the creatures sneaking up behind her. Before it can attack, Lena leaps in and takes it out with a single, powerful strike. "Nice work," Light says, impressed. "I've spent the past 3 months fighting more battles than I ever wanted," Lena replies. She checks on Ella, who reassures her, "I'm fine. Nothing's going to happen to me." After clearing the first floor, the group moves to the second. "There are 18 missing adventurers," Light says. "But we've already encountered more undead than that." Lena thinks about it. Could other undead have joined the ones who were already here? Light nods. It's possible. There might be other groups of undead in this place. They rush to the second floor, where another challenge awaits. A shadowy figure appears, waiting for Light. Just as they prepare to confront her, a horde of undead blocks their path. The group fights together, but something is different about these monsters. They're thinking, strategizing. "These creatures are acting strangely," Light says. "Ella, can your evaluation skill tell us anything?" Ella focuses her skill and gasps. "These monsters are being controlled. There's a tamer here." A skill that lets someone influence monsters. That means someone is pulling the strings. Suddenly, Ella shouts, "Look out! Someone is attacking with sharp threads!" The group runs toward the source of the attack and finds a large door. They open it cautiously, only to discover a ballroom. Light looks confused. "A ballroom?" Ella explains. "It's a hall for dancing. They call it a ballroom." Before Light can respond, a voice echoes through the room. A woman steps forward, introducing herself as Dratinol, a member of the Black Swan Wings, an elite force of the Dark Order. "I've been waiting a long time to see you, Light," she says with a smirk. Light doesn't hesitate. He charges at her, but Dratinol summons a horde of undead to block his path. Ella quickly uses her evaluation skill and discovers something shocking. "She's a necromancer," Ella shouts. "She can control corpses and spirits, and even use their unique skills." Dratinol is visibly surprised. "That little girl can use an evaluation skill?" she mutters. Light tries to reason with her. "If you're an adventurer, why don't we work together instead of fighting?" Dratinol laughs coldly. "Work together? I'm here to kill the Master of Fruits, not make alliances." She orders the undead to attack Light. Light fights off the monsters skillfully, but he's confused. "Why are you trying to kill me?" he asks. Trunel pauses. "It's an order I was given, but I can't tell you more. It's a secret." Light realizes she must known he was coming all along. Lena, watching the battle, says, "I've never heard of a group like the Black Swan Wings or a skill as powerful as necromancy." Dratinol smirks. "I've grown tired of waiting for you to get here, Light. Since you've taken so long, you'll have to entertain me properly." More undead swarm toward the group. "Let's take them down together," Light shouts. "They're not as strong when we work as a team," he adds. The undead begin to target Lena, and she recognizes some of them. "Wait, I know these people," she says, her voice trembling. Strotinile notices Ella and moves to attack her, but Light rushes in to save her, taking out the attacker just in time. More zombies close in on Light. He thinks, how am I supposed to fight them all while protecting Ella? Ratnell orders the zombies to focus on Light. He dodges and counters their attacks, but he's quickly surrounded. Meanwhile, Lena faces two undead adventurers she once knew. She blocks their strikes, her expression conflicted. I have to take them down, Lena says, her voice firm. Memories flood her mind. When she first arrived in the Holy City, these two were the first to befriend her. Why don't you join us? One of them had asked her back then. She remembers agreeing, and weeks late hearing the boys say, congratulations, we heard you've been promoted to rank A. Napping back to the present, Lena steels herself. The boy and the girl, her former friends, are now attacking her. Around her, more zombies close in, their lifeless eyes locked on their prey. Lena looks over at Light and Ella struggling to fend off the attacks. She thinks, if only I could cut the threads controlling them. There has to be a weak spot somewhere. Lena prepares to strike down the undead, but as she looks at them, she remembers her friends. Pain fills her heart as memories of the past flood her mind. She imagines the boy's voice saying, what you're trying to do isn't wrong. It seems like our adventure ends here. The future of our dreams is in your hands now. Lena clenches her fists, tears welling up. The best way I can honor them now is by ending this myself, she whispers. I'll finish this quickly, without any pain. With resolve, Lena charges forward, her blade swift and precise. She cuts down her former friends, tears streaming down her face. When it's over, she collapses to her knees, mourning them deeply. Meanwhile, Light battles the undead relentlessly, cutting down wave after wave, but more keep coming. They just keep appearing no matter how many I destroy, Light exclaims. He turns to Ella. Can your necromancy skill create undead to fight for us? Ella shakes her head. I can't create undead, but I can control the ones around me. Light looks around, puzzled. Where are they all coming from? This castle has been abandoned for years. It's not like a graveyard or a battlefield. There shouldn't be this many undead here. Ella nods. I'll take a closer look from afar, she says. Ratinal smirks. You're sharper than I thought, Light. I like clever people, she says mockingly. But before things get too complicated, I think it's time for me to say goodbye. She activates her evaluation skill, clearly preparing for another strike. This time, she targets Ella. I'll make sure that little girl doesn't bother me again, Dratinel declares, lunging toward her. Before she can land the blow, Light intercepts her, shielding Ella. Stop trying to hurt a little girl, he shouts angrily. Dratinel sneers. Keep getting in my way, and I'll kill all of you myself. Light glares at her. The only way out of this mess is to fight. Hela, standing behind Light, grips his back tightly for support. I've got your back, she says, her voice steady despite the chaos. Joadinan watches in disbelief. That child, she's braver than I expected, she mutters, clearly taken aback by their determination. And our episode kicks off with Lena going all out in a fierce battle, tearing through enemies with raw determination. But there's a catch. She's separated from Light. Her mind races, desperate to reunite with Light and Ayla ASAP. Meanwhile, we cut to Light carrying Ayla on his shoulder like a champ as she analyzes these relentless monsters. They're trying to crack the mystery. Why do these creatures keep regenerating and showing up like there's no end to them? The situation's getting way out of hand. There are just too many of them. They need a vantage point, and fast. Light makes a bold move, heading to higher ground. He climbs up, grabs onto a massive chandelier like some kind of action hero, and holds Ayla up with one arm. Yep, one arm. Even though she's pretty heavy, he doesn't flinch. Ayla scans the scene and suddenly it clicks. She figures it out. The vampire causing all this chaos is using a summoning skill, boosted by another skill. And guess what? It's Count Montes. Yeah, that Count Montes. But now, he's turned into an undead nightmare. Just as Ayla uncovers the truth, Dratina shows up. She realizes they're close to figuring everything out and makes a move to stop them. But then, boom! Something even crazier happens. Up above, they spot him. Yup, it's the big bad himself, the boss of all bosses, the one pulling the strings, the Reaper. This monster doesn't just command an undead army, he turns the living into them with just a touch. One swipe from him, and you're toast. Or worse, undead toast. The Reaper lunges at them, his attack almost connecting, but Light leaps out of the way with insane speed, narrowly avoiding disaster. Dratena drops a truth bomb. Count Montes, once a famous adventurer, became an undead freak because he summoned this soul-reaping nightmare. And yeah, it's as tragic as it sounds. Light pieces it together. This Reaper is the reason so many people have vanished. Turns out, Montes called forth the Reaper to fend off intruders, and now every mid-tier adventurer who's ever set foot here has ended up as undead fodder. But why would a successful adventurer like Montes summon a monster so deadly? That's when Dratina delivers the kicker. Oh, you sweet summer child. You really don't know, do you? Forbidden skills, kid. They're the dark arts of the adventurer world. Just having one makes people hate and fear you. She spills the backstory. Montes' summoning skill was one of those forbidden ones. At first, the world hailed him as a hero, a man with unmatched power. But then, the paranoia set in. What if Montes turned his strength against the people? Fear gripped the townsfolk and the government alike. They turned on him, branding him a traitor. Montes fled here, his life in ruins, hounded by assassins every step of the way. Recently, a fresh batch of killers was sent under the guise of a monster density survey. Montes, desperate and cornered, summoned the Reaper as a last-ditch defense against these relentless pursuers. And now, Light, Lena, and Ayla are caught in the aftermath of Montes' tragic fall from grace. So, what's next? Will they take down the Reaper? Or is this the endgame for our heroes? Stay tuned, folks, because this story is only getting started. Montes, the former count, might have decided that if he couldn't live in peace, no one else would either. And that's exactly how this cursed castle became a death trap. Light, shaken by the realization, blurts out, "Wait, what? How could a whole team of assassins have been after him? The guild never told us anything about this?" Dratena lets out a mocking laugh, her voice dripping with condescension before diving back into the fight. Meanwhile, Light's thoughts spiral. Forbidden skills. Does that mean I could use the Lord of Fruits to gain an infinite number of abilities? Did the whole world know about these things all along? Lost in his thoughts, Light barely notices an incoming sneak attack. At the last second, instinct kicks in and he dodges. But even as he moves, his mind keeps racing. What if one day they turn on me too? What if I end up just like Montes, cast aside and hunted down? And now, my friends, let me remind you, don't let these thoughts consume you. If you do good, do it with no regrets. Trust that the universe, or whatever higher power you believe in, has your back. Light snaps out of his trance and refocuses on the fight. He tells Ayla, "I noticed something about these undead while watching their movements. Dratena's using some kind of strange ability, maybe summoning magic or soul binding to control them. They keep repeating the same attacks over and over, like mindless machines, until she gives them new orders." Thinking fast, Light uses his tactical genius to set up a clever feint. He makes it look like he's going in for a direct attack, but it's all a distraction. From behind, Lena moves in silently, completely unnoticed by Dratena. With one swift, devastating strike, she takes out the Reaper. Lena stands over the fallen ghost, her breathing heavy. She turns to Dratena, her voice calm but firm. "I know you're not great with timing, Dratena, but don't worry, I'm not gonna kill you, not yet, at least. I've got a lot of questions, and you're going to answer every single one of them." Before Dratena can respond, Light charges at Montes, aiming to finish him off. But Montes resists. Dratena smirks, her voice dripping with malice as she orders Montes to summon something. The room grows cold, the air heavy, and then it appears. A gigantic dragon, its scales gleaming like black steel, its eyes burning with otherworldly fire. Dratena is ecstatic, her laughter echoing through the hall. "Yes, this is better than anything I could have dreamed of." But her joy is short-lived. The dragon, clearly not a fan of being summoned, lashes out with a thunderous strike, sending Dratena crashing to the ground. Lena watches the scene unfold, her face grim. This isn't just any dragon. I've heard of this one. It's a high-tier beast, one of those nightmare targets that even SAS-rank adventurers rarely go after. And when they do, they don't come back. She pauses, then adds, "Still, if we combine our abilities, we might—" "No!" Ayla shouts, cutting her off. "This isn't a normal fight. That dragon is immune to slashing attacks. Its scales are unbreakable. Your swords won't do a thing." But Light doesn't listen. Fueled by determination, or maybe stubbornness, he leaps into action, his sword raised high. He lands a direct blow on the dragon's massive form, only for his sword to shatter into pieces. He stumbles back, staring at the broken blade in disbelief. Lena, he yells. "What the hell do we do now? If we turn our backs, that thing will tear us apart." The dragon roars, its fury shaking the castle walls. The stakes have never been higher. Can Light, Lena, and Ayla outsmart a beast that seems completely invincible? Or is this where their story ends? Stay tuned, because the real fight is just beginning. Ayla spoke up with an idea. "Hey Light, eat this fruit." Without hesitation, Light grabbed the fruit and took a big bite. Meanwhile, Dratena, still lying on the ground, couldn't help but smile. She was thrilled with what Montes had done, summoning this massive dragon, one of the most powerful beasts in existence. Even she couldn't control something like that. Suddenly, a masked figure appeared, scooped Dratena up, and vanished into thin air. Back to Light and the crew, Lena turned to Ayla, her curiosity piqued. "Wait, why do you have skill fruits on you?" Ayla shrugged. "I brought a few along just in case. I figured they might come in handy, especially now that we're up against an evil dragon. Better than running in blind, don't you think?" The dragon roared, its massive claws swiping dangerously close as the group scrambled to dodge its attacks. Light, determined to turn the tide, decided to eat one of the skill fruits to see what new powers he could unlock. "Don't do it," Lina warned. Those things can seriously mess you up if you're not careful. But, Light smirked. Relax, I'm immune to the fruit's poison. I can eat as many as I want. Lina looked uneasy. But what if the skill's useless? Or worse, it messes with your sword abilities. Ignoring her, Light bit into the fruit. Isla analyzed his newfound skill. Okay, so you've got insect resistance? Light froze. Insect resistance, that's it? He looked at the dragon, which was clearly not an insect. Frustrated, he muttered, "Great, just great." Lina, realizing time was running out, charged at the dragon. "I'll distract it. You guys figure something out." As she faced the beast head on, Light turned to Ayla. "Give me 2 more fruits. I'll eat them together." "What? Are you crazy?" Ayla cried. "We don't even know what'll happen if you mix them." "We don't have a choice," Light shot back. "We're running out of time." He grabbed the fruits and gulped them down. Ayla quickly analyzed his skills. "Okay, so you can now tame cats? What? And the other one is weapon durability enhancement. It makes your weapons less likely to break." Light face palmed. "Seriously, my sword's already broken." That would have been great 5 minutes ago. Suddenly he stumbled, clutching his chest. The effects of eating 2 fruits at once were taking a toll. His body felt like it was on fire. "If the next skill isn't useful," he gasped, "I'm done for." Meanwhile, Lina was struggling. Exhausted, she swung her sword at the dragon, but it shattered on impact. The beast retaliated, its tail slamming into her with brutal force, sending her crashing to the ground. Light, seeing Lina in trouble, forced himself to his feet. With trembling hands, he ate another fruit. This time, something changed. A red beam of energy shot out from his palms, humming with power. He grabbed a nearby rock, charged it with the red energy, and hurled it at the dragon. The rock exploded on impact, sending the creature reeling. "Sorry I kept you waiting, Lina," Light called out, a cocky grin spreading across his face. "Let's finish this." Ayla ran over to Lina, panting, and said, "Turns out Light's new skill is Sleep Spirit. Anything that inhales those scales will be knocked out cold." Light, hyped up by the news, unleashed Sleep Spirit on the dragon. The shimmering scales filled the air, but instead of passing out, the dragon went berserk, roaring even louder. "Why isn't it working?" Light yelled. Ayla quickly analyzed. "The scales are too light. They're dispersing before reaching the evil dragon. They can only travel about 3 meters. Light's mind raced. If he wanted to make the dragon inhale the scales, he'd need to get up close, really close. He looked up and smirked. Got it. Using his broken sword as a tool, Light smashed the ceiling, causing chunks of debris to fall around the dragon. He darted and jumped from piece to piece, climbing higher until he was standing right above the beast's massive head. "Time for a nap, big guy," he muttered. With one final push, Light unleashed Sleep Spirit directly into the dragon's face. The dragon roared in defiance, thrashing wildly. But then, its movements slowed. Its eyes drooped. Finally, with a thunderous crash, the dragon collapsed, fast asleep. "About time," Light muttered as he jumped down. The team didn't waste a second. "Run!" Lina shouted, and they bolted out of the crumbling building just as it exploded behind them. Outside, Light caught his breath, looking at his team with a smirk. "Let's head home, grab our reward, and treat ourselves to some good food. I'm starving." The scene shifted to the group arriving back at their base. Light turned to Ayla and said, "You really saved us back there. Thanks." But before anyone could respond, Light suddenly collapsed, exhaustion overtaking him. The next scene opened in a dimly lit room. A mysterious man was carrying the unconscious Dratenais. A girl approached him, her voice sharp. "What about Light? What's his deal?" The man chuckled. "I was honestly surprised to hear he managed to take down the evil dragon. Impressive. But he's no threat to us, the Black Swan." As he walked away, the girl smirked. "I can't believe he's that strong. Then again, his power comes from an a priori. Maybe there's nothing else special about him." She paused, her eyes narrowing. Still, our meeting with him is drawing closer." Our episode today kicks off on a bright, sunny morning. Ella and Lina are busy preparing food, but they also need to take care of the garden. Lina offers to water the plants, but Ella quickly tells her she already did. Just then, Light walks in, looking refreshed. "I feel great now. No way I'm going back to sleep," he announces confidently, but the girls immediately lift him onto their shoulders and insist, "You need to rest. You ate 4 whole fruits at once. What were you thinking?" They tuck him back into bed, and Lina checks his temperature. Thankfully, it's gone down, but they warn him not to push himself. You need rest and proper meals. So Lina prepares a hearty dish for him. Light digs in, and it's clear the food is excellent. Midway through the meal, Lina tells him they've received a mandatory summons from the Adventurers Guild. They want us to provide more details about the appearance of the evil dragon. Light decides he's going with them, but Ella firmly tells him, "Nope, you're staying here to rest. We'll fill you in when we're back." Reluctantly, he agrees and the girls head out. When they arrive at the guild, a guild receptionist tells them they'll have to wait 2 hours for the meeting hall to open. Meanwhile, the younger girl with them tries to enter but gets stopped. After investigating, they find out she isn't officially registered as an adventurer. Lena steps in. "Alright, let's get you registered then." The guild girl hands over the form and they get to work. "Let's go shopping while we wait," Lena suggests cheerfully, but Ella hesitates, admitting, "I don't have any money." Embarrassed, she looks away. Lena laughs. "Don't worry about that. Think of me as your big sister. It's no big deal." They stroll through the city, enjoying ice cream, until Lena spots a merchant's store that catches her eye. She's thrilled, but her excitement takes a hit when she realizes how expensive the shop is. Still, they head inside. Ella examines a piece of diamond. Her skill allows her to assess tools and materials, and she determines it's raw diamond. The merchant sitting nearby overhears and is shocked. "No way, that's real diamond," he mutters. "Fine, I'll sell it at a discount." Lena buys it, and Ella is overjoyed. Next, they visit Miss Rena's dress shop. She's a talented seamstress, and Lena starts explaining exactly what she wants. A stylish outfit to look like a proper adventurer. Later, they return to the guild, ready for their meeting. Meanwhile, the scene shifts back to Light, who's exercising despite warnings to rest. A tiny fairy tries to convince him to relax and take it easy, but he stubbornly pushes his body to the limit. Exhausted, he finally collapses onto the bed, his mind drifting to thoughts of Lena and Ella. Elsewhere, Lena and Ella are walking alongside a maid. The maid emphasizes the importance of gathering as much information about the evil dragon as possible. Lena assures her, "We'll do everything we can to help." But inside, Lena is suspicious. "I'm not handing over our information so easily." She knows the dragon Dracina wasn't there by coincidence. Someone had sent it to kill them. And the Adventurers Guild, knowing they were headed to the Count's mansion? That's no coincidence either. Someone's pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Could it be the higher-ups who assigned us this mission? Lena vows to uncover the truth. They enter the grand and spacious meeting hall, where the 4 main offices of the guild are represented. These offices are the pillars of the guild, led collectively by the guild master, with the heads of the 4 departments standing behind them. Ella whispers to Lena, "Here we are, face to face with the 4 main offices." Lena nods and begins analyzing the key players. The woman in the hat, head of investigations specializing in studying monster habitats and density surveys. The man with the broad mustache and white hair, head of security nicknamed Tigerbeard, in charge of maintaining public order. The man with long hair and narrow eyes, head of finance, nicknamed the Gravekeeper, responsible for managing rewards and financial affairs. The woman with the stern gaze, head of inspections, tasked with maintaining order across the entire guild. The episode poses a question to the audience. Who is the mastermind trying to kill them? Share your guess in the comments. The head of inspections, also known as the Saintist, steps forward to address them. She commends their work at Count Montez's former estate and expresses relief that they're all safe. Lena, meanwhile, is silently fuming. "I can't stand this woman. I never want to see her face again." But more importantly, I'm curious to see her reaction. The guild girl leans over to whisper to Ella, the Saintess is the highest ranking member of the inspection office. She's the one who connects all the other offices. She's the most important figure in the guild. Ella attempts to assess the Saintess using her evaluation skill, but it doesn't work, leaving her puzzled. The Saintess begins speaking again, turning to Lena. "Now, tell us everything you saw about the evil dragon. Describe every detail." Lena takes a deep breath. "Before I say anything, there's something important I need to ask first. During the attack at the Count's estate, there was a woman named Dracina from the Black Swan. Do any of you know anything about the Black Swan or Dracina?" The room falls silent as the heads exchange glances. One by one, they shake their heads, denying any knowledge of those names. One member suggests searching the guild's records. It's possible something might be there, but warns that proper authorization would be required. The focus shifts back to the evil dragon. They need to find its lair and decide on a plan of action immediately. Lena then reveals a small black object she had picked up while leaving the estate. "This is one of the dragon's scales," she explains. "But I have one condition before handing it over. I need access to all records related to Dracina." The members agree to her terms. The head of investigation steps forward, using her magical skill to locate anything written in the guild's archives. After a moment, she announces, 12 years ago, in the lake capital of Athena, a girl named Dratina consumed a skill fruit. The skill granted her the power of spirit summoning, and it was recorded under the supervision of the guild. Lina immediately presses her. "What's your connection to Dratina?" The investigator shrugs. "I grant skills to about 1,000 people each year. I don't remember anything specific from 12 years ago." The official thanks them for providing such valuable evidence, but then drops a bombshell. All records of the Luxeria team will be erased because Light recruited the team illegally, forcibly taking members from their previous group. Just then, Light enters the scene. Lina quickly informs him of the decision, saying, "The official is deleting our team's records for breaking guild laws." Light stares her down and asks, what gives her the right to do that? The guild staff explains, the official has the authority to make such decisions. Unfazed, Light replies, "That doesn't matter to me. Whether our records are erased or not, we'll always be the Luxeria team." The official steps forward and uses some kind of eye magic. Suddenly, her demeanor changes. She announces, "I'll give you one last chance. Complete an S-rank monster hunting mission and your team will remain in the guild." Lina is stunned. Why did she change her mind so quickly? She warns Light, "This smells like a trap," but Light waves her off. "I've considered that possibility. Still, I want to take on this challenge, become a powerful adventurer, and leave my mark on history." Outside, the team gathers the details of the mission. Lana remains skeptical, convinced the official is up to something sinister. Ella chimes in, "I used my skill to evaluate the official's abilities, but nothing showed up. That's never happened before. It's strange." Their conversation is interrupted by the appearance of the gravekeeper from the finance office. He sternly informs Light, "Weapons aren't allowed in the meeting room. You must pay a 1,000 gold fine." Light smirks. "I know that. And this isn't even a weapon. It's a broken sword." The gravekeeper studies him for a moment, then says, "The fine is waived. However, there's a new issue. That broken sword you're carrying was borrowed from the guild. Since you didn't take care of it and let it break, you now owe a 5,000 gold penalty." Annoyed but resigned, Light heads to the guild reception desk with his team. The receptionist informs him, "You're banned from borrowing weapons from the guild due to breaking two already. You'll need to purchase your own sword from the blacksmith's workshop." Light agrees, without hesitation, eager to gear up and face the dragon. Later, outside the guild, Lina approaches Light. "While you're getting your new sword made, I'll head to Athena for a bit. I'll meet you after you're ready." The two exchange farewells. Our episode begins with Light and Ayla in the library, asking the librarian about a good blacksmith in town. The librarian tells them that there isn't a skilled blacksmith here, as most of the blacksmiths are under the control of the Saint Lady. Light gets frustrated because he needs to forge a sword immediately. The librarian then mentions a blacksmith workshop in the Western District called Bolst Workshop, run by a legendary and highly skilled blacksmith. But lately, he has been facing many troubles. Excited, Light decides to go there right away. We then see Light and Ayla walking through the city, heading toward the legendary blacksmith. Suddenly, they hear a commotion and see a young woman being chased by a group of thugs. Just as one of them is about to attack her, Light steps in and saves her. When another thug lunges at Light, he pulls out his broken sword, flips it around and strikes the thug, sending him crashing to the ground. The rest of the thugs, terrified, flee the scene. The young woman thanks Light for saving her and introduces herself as Monica. Light and Ayla introduce themselves as well. Monica, who absolutely adores little kids, hugs Ayla warmly. She then invites them to her home to host them as a gesture of gratitude. However, Light declines since he's in a hurry to reach Bolst Workshop. Monica then surprises him by revealing that the workshop they're looking for is actually her home. They arrive at the workshop, and Light asks where the craftsmen are. Monica casually tells him that there are no craftsmen. She handles everything by herself. With a bright smile, she welcomes them to Monica Bolst's workshop. Light is completely stunned, realizing that she is the legendary blacksmith. Before anything else, Monica insists on making them some sweets as thanks for saving her. As she starts preparing the treats, she excitedly shows them her collection of uniquely designed frying pans. She explains that she was trying to sell them to the people who attacked her, but they didn't believe her and ended up chasing her instead. Light then notices another tool, one used for farming. Monica tells him that she also forges farming tools. When she learns that Light is a farmer who harvests crops with his bare hands, she eagerly grabs his hands and starts planning the perfect custom tool for him. She declares that it will be her way of repaying him for saving her. She decides to craft it from a special alloy called morsite, which is both lightweight and rust resistant. First, she needs to heat it in the furnace to soften it, then repeatedly hammer it into the desired shape. Then, Moniko bends the heated metal into the shape of a blade. Once she finishes crafting the shears, she hands them to Light for harvesting crops. Light tests them and is amazed at their incredible strength. Impressed, he immediately asks her to forge him a powerful sword. However, Monica refuses, saying she despises making swords. She firmly tells him she can craft anything except a sword. Light is confused because the librarian had told him this workshop specialized in sword making. Monica then explains that the librarian must have been referring to the workshop across from hers, which shares the same name but belongs to her father. Monica and Light head to her father's workshop, where she asks him to forge a sword for Light. Her father scoffs, belittling her because she lacks the skills to craft weapons. Monica, clearly angered, storms off, and Light realizes there is deep family tension between them. Monica's father then tells Light that he cannot forge a sword for him because their workshop is overwhelmed with orders. Disappointed, Light and Ayla leave the workshop, thinking about their next steps. As they walk away, a young man named Ken calls out to Light. Ken is an apprentice of Eval, Monica's father, and he excitedly tells Light that he is a huge fan. He had witnessed Light's fight against Grouse and was amazed by how he defeated him with just a wooden broom. Curious, Light asks why Monica and her father run separate workshops. Ken explains that Monica used to work alongside her father and they once had a great relationship. However, 6 months ago, tragedy struck. A supply carriage traveling outside the holy city was ambushed by bandits. Monica's grandmother, who was Eval's mother, was on board. She was killed in the attack, breathing her last moments in a horrifying scene. The culprits were immediately arrested by the national security forces. However, among the confiscated weapons was a sword with Monica's signature on it. This placed her under heavy suspicion, though she had no direct connection to the bandits. It turned out that many people had used her weapons before. One eventually ended up in the hands of a bandit. Regardless of the circumstances, the revelation that a sword she crafted was responsible for her grandmother's death crushed Monica. Since then, she has despised sword making. Light then asks, "Alright, but why does she constantly fight with her father?" Before Ken can respond, 2 men arrive. Zamo, a man with fiery red hair, and his subordinate Dog. They are customers and arms dealers looking for Eval, Monica's father. Zamo introduces himself as a representative of the Blackbird traders and seems to recognize Light from somewhere. At that moment, Eval, the towering, red-bearded blacksmith, enters. Zamo immediately states that he wants a massive order fulfilled. Not only that, but he intends to purchase weapons from them weekly for the entire year. Shocked, Eval and his workers protest, saying such an enormous order is impossible to fulfill. However, Zamo smirks and warns them that if they refuse, they'll simply take their business to Monica instead. Despite Monica's refusal to forge swords, Zamo smirks and says, "We can simply use force to make her do it." Mercy isn't something I believe in. Sensing danger, Ayla uses her appraisal skill and is shocked to find that Zamo's strength is terrifyingly high. However, before things escalate, Eval steps forward and says, "Fine, give me the contract." Zamo and his men hand him the contract and leave. After they are gone, one of Eval's apprentices reveals the truth. These Blackbird traders are exploiting Monica through business deals and contracts. Eval is forced to comply with their demands to protect her. Eval then explains to Light, "My daughter Monica hates that I sell weapons. After what happened to my mother, she doesn't want me to forge weapons anymore. That's why she left my workshop and cut ties with me. But, kid, don't tell Monica any of this. Also, I have no other way to make a living besides crafting weapons." That evening, the scene shifts to Monica in her workshop. Light arrives, and as soon as she steps outside, she firmly tells him, "I already told you, I won't make you a sword no matter what." But Light just grins and says, "I'm not here about the sword. Let's go grab some dinner. Do you guys have any pizza places around here?" Surprised, Monica hesitates for a moment but then agrees. She heads out with Light and Ayla, and they soon find themselves at a restaurant enjoying some pizza. As they eat, Monica is stunned to learn that Ayla has the appraisal skill. She warns her, "If the craftsman's district finds out about this, everyone will chase after you." Ayla simply smiles and replies, "I don't care about that. All I want is to go on adventures with Light. I like him a lot." Monica chuckles and then, in a playful tone, says, "Well, since this meal is on me, feel free to order more pizza." She thanks them again for saving her earlier, but in the end she firmly repeats that she still won't make Light the sword he wants. The scene then shifts to another location, where Zamo is seen reporting to the Saint Lady. It turns out he's working for her. The Saint Lady tells him, "I'll be needing more weapons very soon. I want you to secure them for me as quickly as possible." Zamo confidently replies, "That won't be a problem. As for that kid, Light, he showed up in the craftsman's district. We have him in our sights, and we'll be able to bring him to you soon. If needed, we can use force." The Saint Lady nods and says, "Fine. I'll send a spy to make sure the National Security Office doesn't interfere, but I don't want him dead. Capture him alive." The scene then shifts back to Monica, who is walking down the street. Suddenly, a man greets her warmly. It seems he is the spy. Suspicious, Monica asks, "Are you one of the arms dealers working with my father?" Before she can get an answer, the man suddenly drugs her, causing her to collapse. He swiftly kidnaps her, disappearing into the shadows. Meanwhile, in another part of town, Light and Ayla are still walking through the streets, completely unaware of what just happened. At that moment, Eval's apprentice rushes to him, calling, "Master! Master! You need to come to the workshop immediately. There's an urgent matter." The apprentice explains that a note and Monica's protective goggles were found on the front door of the workshop. When they read the note, it stated, "Monica is in our possession. If you wish for her safety, send Light to the combat arena alone." They soon realize that the arena is the headquarters of the Blackbird traders, located on the outskirts of the craftsman's district. Eval, furious, grabs his battle axe and spear, preparing for a confrontation, but the apprentice calms him down, warning that brute force won't solve this. The Blackbird traders' fighters are likely waiting for them there. Light, hearing this, steps forward and says, "Master Eval, I'll go alone. They want me, not you, and you don't need to risk yourself." He leaves quickly, reassuring them, "I'll be fine, don't worry." The scene shifts to Monica, who regains consciousness in the enemy's lair. She looks around and asks, "Who are you?" One of the men responds, "You're just bait. We'll capture Light when he comes to rescue you, and then we'll use both of you. You'll be crafting weapons for us." Before he can finish, an explosion occurs and Light appears before them. The men, alarmed, immediately attack, but Light unleashes his magic and summons his small spirit familiar, Sioma, to eliminate them all. After defeating the attackers, Light frees Monica from her restraints and tells her, "Let's get you home." He carries her on his shoulder and heads back to the workshop. When they arrive, Light informs Eval she's fine, just sleeping. Eval expresses his gratitude, saying, "Thank you for saving my daughter. You've given me a debt that can never be repaid. I owe you her life." And with that, the episode ends. To stay updated with more episodes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Our episode begins with Monica's father apologizing to Light for getting him involved in these troubles. He then states that he will cut ties with the Blackbird traders, even though their income will temporarily drop because nothing is more important than their safety. Monica then appears and asks her father if he will stop making weapons. Her father tells her that he can no longer sell weapons to those people and will now find respectable customers instead. However, he insists that he will never stop making weapons, no matter what, as he has been running this workshop for 25 years and will never abandon it. He then asks Light to stay with them for the night, as it is already very late. This is his way of expressing gratitude for saving his daughter. Light agrees to stay and goes up to the room with the lady of the house. He then asks her if she is a craftswoman who knows how to make weapons. She tells him that she is Monica's stepmother and that her job is to cook for everyone, clean their clothes, and take care of the children. Meanwhile, Monica is sitting alone when Light approaches her and asks if she is feeling better. She tells him that she is fine but does not want to sleep. She then asks about Ella, and Light tells her that Ella is asleep. She is a very kind girl who waited outside the whole time until they returned. Light then notices the dagger Monica is holding. She tells him that it was the first dagger she ever made as a child, and it brings her great happiness. Even her father, when he saw it, said that she would become a very talented girl. She deeply respects her father, as she learned many skills from him and watched him build and expand the workshop by accepting more apprentices. Light then asks her if there is any hope of reconciling with her father. Monica replies that blacksmithing to her is a profession she loves, one that makes people happy and provides her with income. However, after her grandmother passed away, she stopped making weapons. During that period, she had crafted many swords that spread everywhere, and she became afraid to make more, fearing that more people would be killed. She then asks Light if he has ever killed anyone before. He tells her that he has killed demi-humans before to protect Ella because they were going to kill her. Now, he is unsure whether swords are beneficial or harmful. The next morning, when Dag wakes up, he finds himself chained and facing Zamdo, who questions how he could make such a grave mistake. Zamdo then informs everyone that he has other plans and that they will set out to execute them at dawn. Meanwhile, Ella wakes Light up from his sleep and they go downstairs for breakfast. As Light is about to sit down, Monica's stepmother tells him that the chair belongs to Monica and that they always leave it empty, hoping she will return one day. She then hands him a meal and asks him to take it to Monica. Light takes the food and heads outside to find Monica in the garden. As she begins eating, she tells him that this year's harvest does not seem like it will be very abundant. Light looks at the crops and uses his magic, causing them to grow rapidly. Monica is shocked and asks him about this ability. Light explains that he is the fruit master and can accelerate the growth of fruits. Still in awe, Monica then asks how he managed to put the blackbird traders to sleep so easily last night. Light tells her that the fruit master ability allows him to consume as many skill fruits as he wants, granting him multiple different abilities. Monica, visibly angry, warns him that excessive consumption of these fruits can lead to death. Suddenly, they hear a commotion inside. When they rush in, they find Zamdo and his men holding Monica's father and his apprentices captive. Zamdo has used lightning magic on them to subdue them. He then tells Light to step outside so they can fight. As they go outside, Light tells Zamdo that it seems he hasn't learned his lesson from what happened last night. He then uses his magic to summon a small fairy, hoping to put Zamdo to sleep. However, Zamdo resists the spell, shocking Light. Zamdo smirks and tells Light that such magic won't work on him like it does on others. Zamdo then launches a powerful attack on the workshop. Seeing his abilities, Ella realizes that he is extremely strong. As he continues to launch more attacks at the workshop, Light tells Ella to take Monica inside for safety. Light then confronts Zamdo, telling him that he is to blame for everything. He was the one who kidnapped Monica in the first place, and she had nothing to do with him. He only wanted her to forge him a sword. Zamdo belittles the weapons made by Monica and her father, which angers Monica. She tells him that craftsmen put in great effort to create the swords he takes from them and trades. Zamdo dismisses her and tells her to be quiet, declaring that he has come to capture both her and Light alive. If they surrender, he will take them without destroying the place or killing everyone inside. Light refuses and tells Zamdo that he will capture him and turn him over to the security bureau. He then attacks Zamdo with his broken sword, but Zamdo easily dodges. Light picks up another sword from the ground, but Zamdo mocks him, saying that it's a low-quill weapon made by Monica's father. Light attacks again, but Zamdo counters with his lightning magic, hurling electric orbs at Light, paralyzing him and then striking him multiple times. Ella carefully analyzes the electric orbs and tells Monica that they are made of iron. Hearing this, Monica quickly hands Light a metal pan so he can use it to catch the orbs. As Zamdo hurls multiple lightning orbs, Light quickly uses the pan to catch them. At first, Monica thinks the plan is working, but suddenly, the electricity surges through Light's body. The pan's handle is made of iron which conducts the electricity, shocking him. Light immediately drops it and instead uses his sword to deflect as many orbs as he can. He then tells Ella and Monica to escape, while he keeps Zamdo occupied until the security center arrives to arrest him. Monica realizes that Light is doing all of this for her, her father, and the workshop. She knows she cannot abandon him. Determined, she grabs a hammer and tells Light to wait for her before running off. Meanwhile, we see Lena in a travel carriage nearing her destination at Blue Elk Station. The driver informs her that the horses cannot go any further, so she will have to continue on foot. Lena then asks why so many people are gathered here, despite it being high up in the mountains. The driver explains that it is the season of the Athena Fairy Festival. Lena replies that she is not here for the festival. She is searching for someone. Back to the battle, Light gives it his all, but his strength is fading. Zamdo then manifests a lightning blade in his hand. When Light attacks, attempting to cut through it, he is shocked to find that the blade is incredibly solid. His sword passes right through it without leaving a scratch. Zamdo then delivers a powerful kick to Light's stomach, sending him flying. Light struggles back to his feet and tries to land multiple strikes, but he cannot overpower Zamdo. However, Light suddenly attacks from below, using Storm Flash, and manages to knock Zamdo to the ground. Light tells him that the pressure from the wind seems to work against him. Furious, Zamdo rises and declares that he will put an end to Light. He then summons a monstrous creature called Eupetos, using his lightning magic. Light is utterly shocked by this. As Light charges forward, the beast counters with a vicious attack, biting onto Light's sword. A massive explosion erupts, and Light is defeated, collapsing to the ground. Meanwhile, Monica turns to Ella and declares that she will save everyone. She will forge a special sword just for Light. And with that, today's episode of this anime comes to an end. To watch more episodes, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Our episode today begins with Light in a deep state of unconsciousness after being attacked by that monstrous creature. Meanwhile, we see Monica and Ayla. Monica is finally about to forge a sword for Light. She's determined to save her father and the others. On the other hand, the Saint seems to be planning something. She murmurs, everything is going according to plan. Could she be plotting to kill Light or desecrate his body? We have no idea how things will unfold. What do you think will happen next? We then shift back to Zamdo's group, with Ayla and Monica watching them from the outside. They sneak in, determined to rescue everyone before they are executed. But how? There are guards at the gate. Monica takes the lead. She distracts them, making them chase after her, while Ayla sneaks in with a pair of powerful steel-cutting scissors. These scissors belong to Miss Monica, and even Ayla's father is stunned by their incredible strength. The scene cuts back to Monica, sprinting with the thieves on her tail. Using her unique abilities, she softens the copper plates in their path, making them unexpectedly smooth. Then, in a split second, she hardens them again, causing the pursuers to freeze in place, unable to move. She rushes forward, unlocks the door, only for things to go terribly wrong. They've caught Ayla! A grotesque brute holds a blade to her throat, growling, "Move and I'll sever the little one's head." Monica, quick-witted as always, takes a metallic stone and slams it against the ground. A blinding light bursts forth, dazzling everyone in the area. The brute stumbles, momentarily losing balance, giving Monica and the others the perfect opening to strike. In a flash, they take him down and tie him up. Now free, Monica turns to her father and asks for permission to use his workshop. She needs to forge a sword for Light. He's facing Zamdo and needs a weapon worthy of battle. Her father, Dago, nods. Do as you wish. Just then, a group known as the Black Bird Traders arrives. They hold the door open, but Dago tells his people, "If we must, we will trap ourselves in here. We'll defend this place with our lives. Let's show them our true strength." Everyone joins forces to craft a powerful sword. As Monica works, memories from the past flood her mind. But Dago interrupts her. "This isn't the time to dwell on the past. We must finish the sword for Light. Time is not on our side." It's been nearly half a year since Monica last forged a weapon, but now hesitation is not an option. She focuses, her hands moving with unparalleled skill. In just 5 minutes, the brilliant sword is complete. But then, boom! The door explodes open. Something is definitely not right. What's going to happen next? Monica and the others rush in, only to find Light lying motionless on the ground. Without hesitation, Monica tosses him the sword she crafted. But Zamdo just laughs. "There's no point in giving him a sword now," he sneers. "I already beat him to a pulp. He's as good as dead." But then, to everyone's shock, Light grabs the sword, gripping it tightly as he struggles to stand. Zamdo chuckles again. "What are you gonna do? You can barely stay on your feet." Ignoring him, Light turns to Ayla. "Throw me a skill fruit, quick!" Ayla doesn't hesitate. She tosses the fruit toward Light, but just before he can catch it, Mamdu snatches it mid-air. A wave of panic washes over them if Zamdo eats it. This could be the end. Holding the fruit up, Zamdo smirks. "Pathetic. You won't be eating this. I already know your ability. It's just sleep powder, and I've countered it before. Besides, everyone knows a person can only eat one skill fruit in their entire life. If they eat a second, they die instantly." He narrows his eyes. "So tell me, why do you even want this fruit?" Light, still breathing heavily, locks eyes with him. "I'll admit, you're insanely strong, but I'm going to be an adventurer who leaves his mark on history. I can't afford to lose here." Zamdo's expression darkens. He lunges at Light, faster than before, and shoves the fruit into Light's mouth. The room falls silent. Zamdo's grin widens. "Go on, eat it and die, or spit it out and admit defeat. If you surrender, I'll spare the workshop. But make no mistake, I'm taking you prisoner either way." Light's response? He bites down, swallows. Zamdo's face twists in pure shock. You actually ate it?" Power surges through Light's body. His wounds begin to heal, and his strength returns instantly. He smirks. Aha, didn't you know? I'm the king of fruits. I can eat as many skill fruits as I want." Zamdo clenches his fists. He had been so sure this would kill Light. But instead, he just made him even stronger. Ayla, still in shock, rushes to analyze Light's new ability. It's the Flame Aura skill. You can ignite your hands or anything you hold with fire. Light laughs, flexing his fingers as flames dance around them. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Zamo, however, is anything but amused. So that's why the Saint was so interested in you. His shock turns into seething rage. Enough! I don't care what orders I was given. I'll kill you myself. Summoning all his power, Zamo prepares to unleash a devastating attack. But Light isn't backing down. He grips his sword and lets the flames engulf it. With this sword and these flames, I can cut through even lightning itself. Zamo's men rush in, ready to back him up, but he roars, "Stay out of this! This fight is mine!" Both warriors stare each other down, power crackling around them. Monica watches, her hands trembling. She put her very soul into crafting that sword. Can it withstand these flames? Ayla places a hand on her shoulder. Trust him, he'll win. Light glances back at Monica. Don't worry. He lifts his blazing sword. I promise, I'll win with this sword. The battle is about to reach its climax. Who will come out victorious? Light looks at Monica with determination. I'll win with this sword. Monica smiles, placing her full trust in him. I believe in you completely. Protect this workshop with that sword. With that, Light launches his ultimate attack. Blazing Lion Strike. His and Zamo's forces clash, shaking the battlefield. Flames roar, energy surges, and for a moment it seems like neither will back down. But in the end, Light's power overwhelms Zamo. Zamo crashes to the ground, defeated. Cheers erupt from everyone around them. Light has won, but just as victory sinks in, a sudden crack echoes in the air. Light looks down. His sword has shattered. He lets out a small chuckle, turning to Monica. You made an incredible sword, but looks like I broke it. Monica walks up to him, smiling despite everything. Don't worry, I'll forge you an even better one, and thank you. You protected this place, but the celebration is cut short. Zamo's men, furious at their leader's defeat, begin to stir. Before they can retaliate, a powerful voice booms through the battlefield. Enough! A man steps forward, the head of the Tigerbeard Security Bureau. His presence alone makes Zamo's crew freeze in fear. You're all under arrest, he announces. Charges include kidnapping, extortion, and disturbing the peace. One of Zamo's men growls. You're only showing up now. Where the hell were you? The security chief sighs. Someone blocked the reports of this incident. That's why we were delayed. I was stuck in a meeting with the evil dragon syndicate. Then another voice chimes in. Eval, smiling confidently. No need to fight anymore. Light already solved the problem. Hearing those words, Light finally relaxes and collapses. The security chief catches him just in time. You've done enough. Rest now. Later, as Light recovers, he turns to Monica. By the way, what exactly did you put into that sword? Monica tilts her head. Nothing too special, just made it as strong and durable as possible. But, well, it still broke, she grins. The only extra thing I did was add a small enchantment to make sure you'd win. Ayla's eyes widen. There's still so much we don't understand about skills and magic. Suddenly, a small bird flies in, carrying a letter. Ayla takes it, quickly reading the message. It's from Lena. She looks up, surprised. It's coming to Athena, but it's taking longer than she expected. Monica's eyes light up. Wait, Lena? You mean Lena the Sword Saint? She's famous. Ayla nods. Yeah, she's in the same squad as me and Light. She's one of Luxeria's most reliable members. The scene shifts to a dense forest. Lena walks alone, deep in thought. Someone from the Black Swan tried to kill us, she mutters. Monica is receiving orders from someone, and I need to find proof. She lifts a small black feather. This is all I have. One wing from the Black Swan. Her eyes narrow as she gazes toward the distant city. Athena, the lake capital. I can finally see it. Her grip tightens. I'll protect Luxeria in my own way. And with that, today's episode comes to an end. What will happen next? Who is behind the Black Swan's schemes? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next episode. Our episode begins today after Light defeated his incredibly strong opponent, Zamo. Everyone was happy while Ella received a message from Lena informing them that she had finally arrived in the city of Athens. The scene quickly shifts to Lena as she reaches the country's border and finally enters. She walks through the streets where a large market was bustling with people. She stops when she hears a street performer calling out, "Come and enjoy a once-a-year event." At the entrance of the street, the traditional Athens fairies will appear. The fairy dancers will arrive in 3 days. Have fun and enjoy until the big day. Lena is then noticed by the performer, who greets her warmly. "Welcome, traveler. Here, Take this beautiful crown as a gift. Lena continues walking through the city streets, thinking to herself, if the saint's secret is here, then she might have already sent an assassin ahead of me. I must stay extremely alert. She then approaches a group of people and asks, I'm investigating a girl named Dratonia Bulbury. Do you know anything about her? The two people she asked were immediately shocked. What? What's your connection to the Bulbury family? I can't believe I'm hearing that name on such a happy day. They quickly walk away, visibly unsettled. Their reaction was incredibly negative. Lena then stops another woman and asks the same question. But this time, the response was even more shocking. The woman freezes in shock, and the jar she was holding falls to the ground, shattering into pieces. Meanwhile, a mustached man nearby reacts aggressively. Get out of here, lady. Stay away from me. Everyone's reaction was extremely bad. Lena thinks to herself, what should I do now? Just then, she glances to her left and notices someone staring at her. However, the moment she turns to look at him, he quickly starts walking away. She immediately follows him, picking up her pace while thinking, could he be the assassin the saint sent here? She grips her sword as she chases after him. She doesn't know who he is, but she won't take any chances. The man turns into an alleyway, and Lena dashes after him, only to find that he has disappeared. Suddenly, he appears behind her and uses his power to restrain her. But Lena quickly reacts, using her sword to cut through the strong ropes. A fierce battle erupts between them. During the fight, the man speaks as if he knows her. As expected from the Saint of the Sword, your swordsmanship is truly impressive. But Lena, still filled with anger, demands, who are you? I won't show you an ounce of mercy if you don't have good intentions. The man smirks. I don't waste my breath on amateurs. He then uses his power once more, but just before he can strike, another voice interrupts them. Stop fighting, both of you! Lena turns in shock, instantly recognizing the newcomer. It was the woman known as the Lady with the Flower Hat, one of the 4 elders of the guild. The red-haired man who had been fighting Lena steps back as the woman introduces him. This is Yuan, my subordinate. I sent him to scout this city. Lena, still confused, asks, what is the investigation bureau doing in this city? The woman responds, just like you, we are investigating Dratonia. Lena's eyes widen in surprise. But aren't you on the saint's side? The bureau chief calmly replies, I'm not on anyone's side. I simply gather information. Yuan then speaks up. Finding Dratonia is part of our mission to stop the evil dragon. We're still analyzing the scales you gave us during the evil dragon meeting. Our only other lead is the person involved in summoning it. That's why we're here. She's a major problem. If this threat appears in the city suddenly, it will bring disaster, affecting countless people and destroying the city entirely. He then looks at Lena and says, but we ask you to stop wandering around. If someone discovers you, it could ruin everything. After saying that, they turn to leave. But Lena calls out to them, let me come with you. I'm completely lost. I don't know what else to do. The head of the investigation bureau agrees, but under one condition. You can follow us, but you must not reveal anything about our methods. We have our own ways of investigating, and this must remain a secret between us. Yuan leans in and whispers into his superior's ear, are you sure about this girl? She nods. Yes, I trust her. When I look at her, I see Dratonia's face, but she is truly good. With that, they start walking through the city. Their first stop is a restaurant to eat fresh fish. However, the ordering process feels strangely coded. The bureau chief says, 3 orders of fresh fish caught last evening, please. The waitress asks, what sauce would you like with that? She responds, the white sauce with tomatoes that were slow cooked overnight. The waitress nods as if understanding a hidden message. All right, please follow me to the back. Inside, they meet an informant who was already waiting for them. Jan hands him 200 gold in exchange for details on Dratonia's whereabouts. The informant scoffs. I can't believe someone is actually asking about that troublemaker. That girl is a real nuisance. Ever since she obtained her spirit summoning ability, her life changed. She used to love dancing when she was 6 years old. But then her family faced a series of unfortunate events, business decline, sudden deaths, including her father's. At that time, a rumor spread in the city that their family was cursed. Her father blamed their misfortune on her forbidden abilities, disowned her, and sent her away to live in a villa. Since then, the townspeople shunned her, believing she brought bad luck. Lady Flower Hat is surprised that the townspeople refused to talk about her. The informant continues, her only supporter was the Holy Lady. Maybe she pitied Dratonia because she was there when she gained her forbidden ability. The Holy Lady exchanged letters with her and invited her to to the Holy City. But perhaps Dratonia was just one of many unfortunate children she supported. Lady Flowerhat asks, where is Dratonia now? The informant replies, she's in the city, but rumors say she's dead. Maybe she escaped the collapsed palace. Then he suddenly demands more money to reveal her exact location. Yuan reminds him, we already agreed on the price for details about Dratonia and her location. The informant hesitates, pretending to be busy with his work. Frustrated, Yuan ties him up, demanding the truth. Lina protests. Don't hurt him, Lady Flowerhat tells her. He was the one who broke our deal first. The informant, now nervous, finally speaks. All right, she's in the theater district, preparing for the fairy dance. With that, they leave him behind after getting the information they need. Then we shift to where Dartina lives. Her servant asks if she plans to go out today. She replies that she'll go and return quickly. The servant urges her to rest so her injury doesn't worsen, but Dartina refuses. She insists that the Holy Lady personally chose her to be the festival dancer, and she wants to be fully prepared for her performance. Meanwhile, we return to Lina and Yuan. Yuan explains, the fairy dance is a sacred tradition performed on the final day of the fairy festival. 1,000 years ago, the fairy king protected this lake from an army of monsters. This tradition reenacts that legend and serves as a prayer for peace. Lady Flowerhat responds, I've heard that the purifying power of the fairy stone protects this city from disaster. Something must have happened for them to make this a yearly ritual. Yuan nods. Every year, noble families select girls to be dancers. If their performance is exceptional, it raises their family's status. This year, Dartina was chosen to be the lead dancer. Lina interrupts. I want to know why Dartina is even here. She doesn't seem comfortable in this city. The only way to find out is by sneaking into her training grounds. They arrive at the location the informant mentioned. The dancers and the orchestra rehearse here, but as they try to enter, guards stop them. Only those with proper authorization are allowed inside. Thinking quickly, the girls claim to be dancers and they introduce Yuan as their flute player. They know that the festival demands elegant, agile dancers, so the guards believe them. However, the guards grow suspicious of the swords the girls are carrying. The girls explain, these are just props. We're performing the Fairy Knight's dance. The guards, satisfied with the explanation, let them in. Inside the Grand Theater, Lina panics. I don't know how to dance. Lady Flowerhat reassures her. We'll figure something out. Yuan, on the other hand, can't play any instrument. His only option is to pretend. As they walk through the theater, they overhear some dancers gossiping about Dartina. We should stay away from her before we get cursed too. She's the daughter of Bliori, the girl with a forbidden skill. The dancers don't know what kind of life Dartina has lived, and their ignorance shows. Suddenly the scene shifts. Dartina is on stage, gracefully dancing. Lina gasps in shock. She's alive. Without hesitation, Yuan uses his power and binds Dartina. Lady Flowerhat steps forward and says bluntly, I'll be direct with you. Do you have any idea where the evil dragon is right now? Dartina responds, it was never under my control from the moment it was summoned. Lady Flowerhat sighs. Our leads have run dry. In that case, I'm taking you to the Holy City. I plan to use magic tracking on you. We're in a race against time. Dartina responds, I'll go to the Holy City, but in 2 days. I want to stay here until the fairy dance. I've dreamed of becoming a dancer since I was a child. Let me have this, at least. Lina turns to Lady Flowerhat, pleading. Can't we delay this for just 2 days? Her leg is still injured from when she was in the Count's mansion. It hasn't healed yet. Lady Flowerhat crosses her arms and says sternly, You're ignoring a major threat just to fulfill a childhood dream. That's incredibly selfish. If you resist, I'll drag you to the holy capital by force if I have to. Suddenly, Lina rushes toward Dartina and unties her. She grabs Dartina's hand and dashes away with her. Yuan immediately gives chase, but when he reaches outside, they've already vanished without a trace. He sighs and turns back to Lady Flowerhat. I'm sorry, I couldn't catch them. She doesn't seem too worried. It's not a problem. She's obsessed with the dance. There's no way they'll leave the city while the festival is still happening. I thought Lina was obedient, but she's much bolder than I expected. On a small boat, a young man, a girl, and a poet drift along the waves. The poet speaks. Have you heard the legend? A loyal servant of the fairy king was sealed at the base of the massive fairy stone. For 1,000 years it has maintained peace in Lake Athena. They say the fairy dance is meant to soothe it, as it has left the fairy realm to become a guardian of our world. But if cracks appear in the stone, this city will be in grave danger. The girl turns to him and asks, "Play us a song then." As the poet plays his melody, something begins to glow. Ella watches Light with concern. "You're exhausted from the fight. You should rest." Light shakes his head. "My wounds are healed. I can't just sit around doing nothing. We need to take care of our S-rank mission soon." Besides, I know Lena is working hard right now. Ella smiles. Lena will be fine. She's the sword saint after all. She can handle anything easily. She's the strongest. Lady Flowerhat speaks to Yuan. I've sent all my birds to search for them. Their night vision is better than ours. Suddenly the birds return, flapping frantically in fear. Lady Flowerhat notices a wilted flower among them, and her expression darkens. This is bad. She uses her magic to analyze the situation. This reaction is tied to a specific weather phenomenon. The source we've been searching for is coming from that direction. If this is happening, then we're running out of time. Something begins to emerge from the lake's depths. And that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one. Our episode today begins with Lena and Dratonia as they decide to hide in an empty house, an old, rundown rental property owned by the Bilberry family. Though it's in poor condition, they figure they can stay there for 2 days until the famous fairy dance arrives. Lena turns to Dratonia and warns, but the one with the flower hat won't go easy on you. I don't think she'll leave the area. She knows for sure you'll return to the stage. What are you going to do? Dratonia replies confidently, I'll ask for help from the Holy Lady. As the head of the guild's office, she'll be able to handle things. Lena then asks her directly, what's your connection to that Holy Lady? And why did she attack us in the Count's mansion? I traveled all this way just to find out. Dratonia smirks. Wow, you're really sneaky. You helped me just so I'd be in your debt, didn't you? Lena shakes her head. That's not true. I helped you because you didn't seem like a bad person. I heard about your upbringing in town. Dratonia interrupts. Oh, so you pitied me? You felt sorry for me? Lena falls silent, not knowing how to respond. They continue walking, but suddenly 2 little kids appear and say, let's dance with you. Dratonia gently tells them, you should go home now. Things might get dangerous. The children hesitate, but soon their parents arrive and quickly take them away. At that moment, a man comes running toward them, panic written all over his face. Run! Get out of here! Run! He shouts. Before he can finish his warning, a massive explosion shakes the entire city. Yes, my friends, monsters! Panic spreads everywhere, but Lena is ready. She summons a dragon with ease and orders everyone to flee immediately. In the chaos, they spot a young girl lying helplessly on the ground. A monster looms over her, ready to devour her. Dratonia reacts instantly. Using her special skill, she grabs a dead monster and swings it like a weapon, smashing it with incredible force. Lena is shocked by her overwhelming strength. The rescued girl quickly runs away, and the townspeople watch in disbelief. Wait, was that the Bilberry girl? Someone murmurs, she's the one who saved us? Another asks, is she fighting for us? Then they see the small rabbit activating a protective barrier, shielding some people from harm. But in the end, the monster lands a powerful blow, sending the rabbit flying into a wall. Lena rushes to save it and swiftly slashes the monster with her sharp sword, killing it instantly. However, just as she catches her breath, another monster appears right in front of her. Lena panics for a moment, unsure of what to do, but Dratonia steps in, using her special abilities to summon a flying creature that rams into the monster with a deadly headbutt, knocking it to the ground. Dratonia then warns Lena that she's recklessly putting herself in danger and should think carefully before attacking anything. But Lena simply smiles and says she loves helping others and protecting people. Just then they notice a strange creature, examining it closely. What is this thing? We've never seen anything like it before, they murmur in confusion. Suddenly, the creature begins to transform, its body trembling with rage. It lifts its gaze to the sky, and as everyone follows its eyes, they see a thick black fog spreading across the area. Out of the mist, a monstrous figure emerges, its shadowy hand stretching forward. It can devour humans in an instant. Fear spreads like wildfire. People begin to despair, whispering, it's over, we're doomed! But just as the monster is about to grab them all, the assistant of the lady with the hat steps forward, unleashing an ability that slices the fog creature into tiny pieces. The lady with the hat nods approvingly, saying, well done, your method is perfect. Lena and Dratonia then arrive, instructing everyone to take shelter in the cathedral, the largest building in the city, equipped with an ancient defense mechanism that can be activated to create a barrier of light, repelling most monsters and attacks. The lady with the hat turns to Lena and Dratonia, her gaze sharp. As for you two, we have a lot to talk about, but now is not the time for words. You're coming with me. We need to solve this crisis. They all turn their eyes toward the lake. The black fog is thickening, swirling ominously as it gathers at its center. The flower hat girl tells them that they will head toward the gathering darkness and take a ride on a gondola through that ominous place. It may be eerie, but it is the source of the black calamity engulfing the city, and they need to investigate. Meanwhile, we see Light training hard while Monica is busy working in the workshop. Her father arrives, bringing the materials she requested and gently reminds her not to overwork herself. But Monica is determined. She explains that the sword she crafted for Light during the battle against Zamito has broken. Light now needs a new, stronger sword to continue his adventures. Back on the gondola, the Flower Hat Girl explains to Lena and the others that the monsters are being summoned through calamity gates opened by someone. Most likely, someone has altered the power of the Fairy Purification Stone, originally meant to repel darkness, turning it into a force that attracts calamity instead. She concludes that the only way to stop this black calamity is to destroy the Fairy Stone. Dratonia strongly objects, calling it a heinous crime. She insists that the Fairy Stone cannot be destroyed. But the Flower Hat Girl is firm. There is no other way. If the stone remains, the monsters will keep appearing and attacking the city. Suddenly, a figure appears in the sky above them, a boy with a guitar. He greets them with a sly grin and announces that he is the mastermind behind the attack. With a flick of his fingers, he casts a spell, summoning a massive dragon. Just as the beast prepares to attack, Lena launches herself at it, slashing fiercely before turning her blade toward the guitar boy himself. She strikes him, but something strange happens. His form shifts, revealing he introduces himself as Argus, a disciple sent to exact revenge. His mission is to eradicate the least dangerous species and reclaim this land. Without hesitation, he raises his hands and summons an army of demons. Argus declares that they will pay for interfering in his work with their lives. Yun quickly decides to use his power to destroy the Fairy Stone as fast as possible, knowing that doing so will stop more gates from opening and prevent more monsters from emerging. He turns to Dratonia, pointing out that their movements are restricted on water. They have no advantage here. The Flower Hat Lady takes a moment to think, then turns to Lena. "This is your chance," she says. "Take down Argus." At the same time, the small creature jumps onto the crystal platforms, lighting them up one by one. Lena dashes across them, closing the distance between her and Argus. Seeing this, Argus realizes he must eliminate her before she reaches the Fairy Stone. He won't let her touch it. Suddenly, he feels a sharp pain on his face. When he turns around, he finds the culprit. It's the Flower Hat Lady. She smirks. "I'll be your opponent now." Enraged, Argus unleashes his power, blasting the ship she was standing on into pieces. Lena gasps in horror, fearing for her safety, but Yuen calmly reassures her. Don't worry about her. No matter how she looks, she's still the head of a guild office. Argus then speaks to the Flower Hat Lady, claiming that he knows everything about her. "Your skill, the Eye of the World, is great for investigation, but in battle it's useless. You stand no chance against me." Before he can finish his taunt, a sudden explosion rocks the area. His eyes widen in shock. He has no idea what just happened. The Flower Hat Lady chuckles. "In this world, there exist forbidden books that grant instant mastery of powerful techniques just by reading them. Have you ever heard of the forbidden secrets of Grimo Magia?" She continues. "There are 48 volumes in total, sealed beneath the holy city due to their immense danger. And I've read them all." With that, she unleashes her power, launching a devastating attack that shatters the Fairy Stone. Argus roars in fury and summons even more monsters in retaliation. But the Flower Hat Lady remains focused. She casts the birdcage spell, trapping the creatures and buying Lena and Dratonia the perfect opportunity to destroy the Fairy Stone once and for all. But they hesitate. If they destroy the Fairy Stone, nothing will be left to protect the city. Lena struggles to find another way. She bets that if Light were here, he would have found a way to save everyone without breaking the stone. But right now, she isn't strong enough to do the same. If they truly want to protect everyone, she steps toward Dratonia and tells her that she will take full responsibility for this. Without another moment's hesitation, she rushes forward and shatters the Fairy Stone. Argus is stunned. He never expected them to actually destroy it, but he wastes no time. With a sinister grin, he opens a massive portal, summoning an enormous beast, the final monster. As the creature emerges, they see it clearly. It's the evil dragon. Unlike the ones before, this one is different, more terrifying. The dragon immediately unleashes a blazing fireball, hurling it toward Dratonia and Lena. Then, without pause, it launches a full-scale attack on the city. Lena panics, fearing the worst, but the Flower Hat Lady reassures her. "Don't worry, we've already evacuated the citizens." Still, Argus laughs mockingly. "Do you really think that matters? You can't do anything against this kind of power. You'll be destroyed. Along with this city." Dratonia desperately searches for a way to defeat the dragon. Meanwhile, Lena, though visibly shaking, pleads with her. Please help me protect this city. Dratonia looks at her in surprise. Even with your hands trembling like that, you still have the courage to say it? And with that, today's episode comes to an end. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Our episode begins today when that clown reveals his true self, saying, "My mission is to annihilate everyone and reclaim this land." He then summons a group of enormous demons that begin attacking the city. Everyone is tense, asking, "How are we supposed to defeat that thing? What do we do now?" At this moment, Lina turns to Dratonia and says, "Come on, help us. We need to protect this city together." Her hands are trembling, and Dratonia notices this, saying, "I'm impressed you can say that while your hands are shaking. But I'll stand with you. We must unite." They both unleash their full power. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, things are extremely tense, with air raids everywhere. A young boy clutches a book, whispering, Maybe a savior will come. Back to the main battle. Yuan and the girl with the hat fight side by side. Yuan uses his abilities to slash through the monstrous enemy. The leader exerts herself too much and collapses, but Yuan catches her, saying, "Don't do this!" At the same time, the dragon bombards the city with deafening missiles, shaking the entire country as if they were cruise missiles. The team desperately thinks of a way to stop its attacks. The only way to protect the city is to defeat the evil dragon. Lina turns to Britannia and asks, "Can you immobilize the dragon for just 10 seconds? They come up with a solid plan. Dratonia uses her powers to control the undead, merging them into a massive creature to restrain the dragon for 10 seconds, just enough time for Lina to strike. Lina dashes forward with incredible speed, leaping high into the air. She aims for its neck, the only spot without scales. With a deadly slash, she severs its head. But then, the twisted controller laughs. The dragon rises again, even stronger than before. It smashes Dratonia's creature, making it explode. The controller sneers. "This dragon can't be defeated by that weak sword." He then merges with the dragon's head, launching more devastating bombs onto the city. At that moment, the girl with the hat frantically flips through her book and shouts to Lina and Dratonia, "Hurry! The evil dragon has fused with that being known as Argus! And this dragon is incredibly powerful. It will never stop and has the potential to destroy the entire world." The girl with the hat starts thinking of a way to defeat it. She mutters, "If the fairy stone is reversed and the summoning of monsters and the evil dragon isn't due to specific skills," she was thinking out loud, which made the foolish Argus snap. "I must eliminate the smart ones first." He unleashes a massive attack toward her, but she counters with a demon fire spell, holding her ground for a while. However, the dragon overpowers her. At that moment, Yuan swiftly intervenes, pulling her away just in time. The fireball flies off course, and using his rope like Zorro, he swings them both to safety. However, they soon realize they've drifted 500 meters away from the main battlefield. Meanwhile, the dragon launches a devastating attack on Lina and Dratonia. Lina quickly activates Buckley, a powerful shield, blocking the attack. However, the dragon's strength is overwhelming, and the force of the impact shatters into the mountains. Lina breathes a sigh of relief. "Thank God! The city wasn't hit by that missile," but she clenches her fist deep in thought. "What should I do? Last time I couldn't land a hit on it. My sword was broken back then, but now it's right in front of me. We can't run, or it will destroy the entire city. We must face it, even if I die here. If I die, I'll die as a martyr, defending my land and my people." The dragon strikes again, but Lina refuses to give up. She leaps into the air, ready to intercept the attack. Suddenly, something strange happens. An intense light bursts forth from the creature. Lina is shocked. What is this light? Something is entering my mind. A voice echoes in her head. "I swear I will protect this town no matter what." She gasps. Could this be a memory of one of the past heroes? The truth was still unknown, but something was unfolding before their eyes. A massive orb of light forms, and in an instant, Lina slashes, severing the dragon's arm. The beast howls in agony. Yuan and the girl with the hat watch in astonishment. This is unbelievable. Did the holy sword skill evolve? Lina had indeed undergone a transformation. Wings had sprouted from her back. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the saint, who watches the battle through her screen. Her eyes widen. What is happening? What is that enormous crystal? I've never seen anything like it before. Back on the battlefield, Dratonia stares at Lina in awe and murmurs, This is like the legends. The legend of Athena, the fairy king." The girl with the hat watched in pure excitement. "Yuan, get me closer. I want to see this up close." Meanwhile, Lina floated within her glowing yellow aura. feeling an immense power surging through her body. It was as if someone inside her mind was guiding her, teaching her how to wield this newfound strength. She struck the dragon with a massive blow, toying with it as if it were nothing more than a ring on her finger. The crowd cheered. She had severed both of its arms. Seeing this, Grouse panicked and immediately ordered the dragon to destroy the cathedral barrier. The beast launched a direct attack, but at the last second, Lena intercepted it, slicing through the attack itself. She then soared higher, gripping her sword tightly before plunging it straight into the dragon's body. With a thunderous crash, the dragon plummeted into the sea, utterly defeated. Yet, as the dust settled, Grouse's heart still pulsed with life. Rage filled his face. A little girl defeated me? Lena pointed her sword at him. Now, tell us everything you know, or I'll cut off your head too. Grouse's mind raced. Who is this girl? Could that saint be involved? Maybe she tricked me, used me as bait. Thinking quickly, he activated a mysterious ability and vanished into thin air. Lena took a deep breath, exhaustion setting in. The battle had been brutal. Her sword slowly faded back to normal, and her wings disappeared as well. The mysterious entity that had fought alongside her remained by her side. Dratenu rushed over, checking on her condition. Then the girl with the hat joined them, beaming with pride. That was an incredible victory. The scene then shifts to Light, who is deep in training. After finally completing his 100th drill, Ila approaches him holding a tray. I brought you dinner! Without hesitation, he devours the food in an absolutely savage manner before resuming his training. Meanwhile, his blacksmith friend, Monica, works tirelessly with her father, forging a new sword for him. And with that, today's episode comes to an end. Stay tuned for the final episode. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything new. Our episode begins today with Lena apologizing to the girl with the hat, saying that the man managed to escape. The girl with the hat reassures her. Don't worry, my lady. Thank goodness we succeeded in defending the city. Then she shows her something and says, he dropped this clock. Or maybe this engraving. It could have a similar effect to a certain skill. This is the inverted bat engraving. It can repel spells until the monsters emerge. Then he used the misfortune he gathered to summon the dragon. She then turns to Lena and asks, but tell me, Lena, what was that power you were using? You could even fly. Lena, puzzled, replies, I don't really know, but I think this little thing transformed into wings, and that sword, maybe it was responsible for it too. At that moment, a mysterious figure with large ears appears before them and says, my name is Opal. As for this form you see before you, it is merely a tangible thought I left behind, like a mirage. I am the fairy king. The girl with the hat is shocked, exclaiming, I can't believe this. It's like a dream. The ancient legend has come true. She seems so fascinated by him that she even asks about his hobbies and skills. Then they question him, who gave us the wings and the great sword? Opil responds, it wasn't exactly me. Medros himself shared the power that was once granted to his follower. That name belongs to the unicorn of the sealed stone of the fairies. Lena suddenly remembers something and says, yes, I obtained that power. And then my memories stop there. You and Medros were fighting monsters alongside me, weren't you? Opil nods and says, yes, that is exactly what happened. After a great tragedy, we achieved our greatest victory, an incredibly hard-fought battle against the demons. But in return for our triumph, this land was burned to ashes, becoming uninhabitable for any living creature. It took many long years for it to recover to its former state. Lena, when you unleashed your determination and strength, that unicorn responded to your resolve. It emerged from the stone and used its full power. And now, I thank you for driving the demons away from this land. Do you see this lake? I haven't laid eyes on it in 1,000 years. I believe life has returned to its natural state and people now live here once more. The ones who lived here, who built this magnificent site, the generations that followed them, are the ones who will restore the land. Even to this day, their work gives meaning to our battles. We, the old guardians, will disappear, leaving the future in their hands. But before that, I have one last request from you all. I want to see the fairies dance, so that the unicorn may witness it and finally depart in peace, just as it did in that ancient memory. Veronia nodded and said, yes, I will do it, and you shall dance with me. And so they began. The people watched from above, astonished. Look Look, are they really performing the dance under these conditions? Perhaps there's a reason. The troupe started playing their flutes and instruments, filling the air with a mystical melody. Tritonia danced, tears streaming down her face. The one with the large ears smiled and thanked her for the beautiful dance. Then, as the music reached its climax, the enchanted stones vanished. The spirit within them faded away, transferring into the small creature as if it were being reborn. It would now stay with Lena before disappearing completely. The mysterious figure turned to her and said, "Take care of him. Let him run freely through the plains. Let him live in the wind. In his new life, the fairy wings and the sword will be your strength. Whenever you need them, they will lend you their full power." Lena gently placed her hand on the small creature and gave it a simple name, Siron. The little one beamed with joy, and with that, the figure with the large ears vanished. Just moments later, Lena lost consciousness. She had fought with all her might. They quickly carried her to a guest room in the hotel. When she awoke, she found everyone gathered around her. The girl with the hat smiled and said, "You fought with honor, Lena. You need to rest after using that full power." Then a man entered the room, stepping forward. "Welcome, savior of Athena," he said, extending his hand to her. He shook her hand firmly before delivering unexpected news. "The Holy Lady has supplied the Night Guard with weapons." Lena's eyes widened in shock. "Did the saint really do that?" Everyone in the room gasped. The girl with the hat asked in disbelief, "Wait, the saint of the Grand Office provided you with that support?" The soldier nodded. "Yes, the shipment was delivered today by the Blackbird merchants after the fairy stone disappeared. Now, we must prepare ourselves to eliminate the remaining monsters in the region. I truly appreciate her efforts." With that, he turned and left, leaving behind an air of mystery and urgency. Dartina didn't understand what was so strange about the situation. She simply assumed that the Holy Lady was just doing her duty to serve them. But the lady with the flowered hat explained, no matter how fast news spreads, it should still be impossible for weapons to reach Athena from the Holy City the very day after yesterday's events, unless they had already been prepared in advance. That's when Yuan realized the Holy Lady must have known that the fairy stone would be destroyed. The lady with the hat continued, "The Holy Lady's skill is evaluation. There's an unspoken understanding between the high-ranking officials of the guild, but more importantly, her skill is tied to clairvoyance. She can see what's going to happen. That's why she was given the title Holy Lady." Lena suddenly recalled something. "When I ate the skill fruit, my skill was evaluated as Sword Saint." The lady with the hat shook her head. "She didn't just evaluate your skill, she foresaw your future and guessed what it would be. This is top secret information, but I felt like you all needed to know." Regardless, she explained, the evil dragon incident at Count Monte's former castle had created an unprecedented chain of dangers, and by sheer coincidence, both incidents revolved around Lena and Dartina. That's when the terrifying truth hit them. The Holy Lady had orchestrated everything using her clairvoyance. Their battles against the evil dragons had been nothing more than a piece of her grand plan. Then, the lady with the hat turned to Dartina and asked, "How long are you going to let the Holy Lady exploit you like this?" Dartina didn't answer. The lady with the hat continued, "It doesn't matter. You and Lena are coming with me. I'm taking you both to the Holy City. You're under my supervision now. After that, I have other places to investigate." Lena then recalled a conversation she once had with the Holy Lady. That day, when she first obtained her skill, she was forced to go to the Holy City. And ever since that moment, she had been acting according to the Holy Lady's foresight. She now suspected that everything had been a setup, that the Holy Lady had done all this just to get rid of Lean. Turning to the lady with the hat, Lena declared, "I'll go with you. I don't want my path, or my friends' paths, to be dictated by the Holy Lady's plans." Dartina, on the other hand, was conflicted. She didn't want to betray the Holy Lady. After all, she had no knowledge of her clairvoyance or the evil dragons. But in the end, she decided to go along with the lady with the hat. Not as an ally, but simply to gather more information. The lady with the hat looked her straight in the eye and said, "Then you need to decide. Whose side are you truly on?" Before Dartina could answer, Lena interrupted. "Before we leave, I want to rebuild Athena. When we destroyed the fairy stone, I took responsibility for it. Helping them is the least I can do." The lady with the hat sighed. "Fine. You have 4 days to rest. Do whatever you want." Lena lit up with joy. She immediately started reaching out to the other members of Luxeria. The lady with the hat offered her help. I can assist with that. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Ayla was in the kitchen with her mother, preparing food. Ayla was very excited. Today, we're making pizza. At that moment, Light arrived to check on her. He had been training relentlessly to master his iron flame skill. But before they could say much, a small insect-like creature suddenly appeared. From it, they heard Lena's voice. Light's eyes widened in shock. Lena? What how? Lena's voice explained through the creature. These rare beings allow us to transmit our voices across distances. We have 2 of them. Light continues talking with Lena, concerned about her condition. Are you okay? He asked, then added, we're here in this city to get a sword, but we ended up fighting the lightning beast. Zamdo instead. Ayla chimed in. But Light won against him, Lena replied. I just wanted to inform you that I'm still caught up in many things and can't return yet. But as soon as I reach my next goal, I promise I'll come back. Light reassured her. We'll find a way to take on our next mission and give it our all. Lena smiled and said, I'll return, so wait for me. Light nodded. We're leaving tomorrow. We'll complete that rank S mission in no time and we'll be waiting for you. Just don't do anything reckless. Scene transition to the Saintess speaking with Noah. The events in Athena unfolded as expected. The next target is the Formido Forest, the Saintess said. We must eliminate the Fruit Master soon. Noah frowned. He's going to stand in the way of your destructive plan for destiny, the Saintess warned. You must never speak those words outside this room. The time of beginning is near. Scene shifts back to the city. Monica spoke excitedly. Light, your new sword is finally complete. I crafted it with great care. Light's eyes widened in amazement. This is exactly what I'd expect from you. She handed him his coat after repairing it. Light thanked her. Even though you're busy helping rebuild the workshop, you still managed to do all this. Thank you. The man beside them chuckled. Honestly, Bull's workshop wouldn't have made it without you. But this still isn't enough to repay your kindness. Light expressed his gratitude once more. As he turned, he noticed Monica preparing to leave with them. I realized something while watching you fight, Monica said. Seeing how you use my sword in battle is the fastest way for me to create the ultimate sword. Homura is just a prototype. I know I can craft a better one that will enhance your abilities even further. Light nodded in agreement. It'll be more fun having you with us, Monica grinned. You can count on me to add some energy to our journey. They bid farewell to the townspeople and set off on their next adventure. As they walked, Light clenched his new sword and declared, I'll find you, Lena. I'll become the strongest adventurer ever and leave my mark on history. Thus, this anime comes to an end. Stay tuned for more exciting anime. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with all the latest content.